Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone, how are you? I hope you are all fine. Let me introduce myself first. My name is Sinta Maya Tantri from State Polytechnic of Malang. In this video, we will learn together about analysis of the internal environment. Okay, in this chapter consists of the first is internal analysis challenges, and the next is research capabilities and the core competencies, and the third is the build core competencies, and the fourth is outsourcing, and the last is input strategies. Before we go to the subchapter, do you know the meaning of internal environment? Okay, according to Acker, 1995 explained that the company internal environment is the company research or the firm research that will determine the strength and weakness of the company. And the objective of the internal analysis are in identifying the strength and weakness of the company and being used to make good strategic decision. Okay, we go to the first subchapter is the internal analysis challenges. In the global era, traditional search of competitive advantage, comparative advantage, and such as low labor costs, low capital costs, and raw materials can be easily overcome by competitors with their global strategy. Through an internal analysis, the company determines what it can do with its core research capabilities and competencies. Some of questions according HIT 2001 that are a challenge for internal analysis is the first is how do we manage our current core competencies while the company is continuously developing something new, and the next is how do we combine or synergize a number of research capabilities and the core competencies to create optimal value for customers, and the last is how we can learn to change quickly. Okay, the next subchapter is the research capabilities and the core competencies. Core competencies is a unique strength embedded deep within a firm that are critical to gaining and sustaining competitive advantages, according to the Leonard Barton 1994. In the core competencies allow a firm to differentiate its product and service from those of its rivals, creating higher value for the customer, or offering products and service of the comparable value at lower cost. And the next is about the research. Research is any assets that a firm can draw on when formulating and implementing a strategy, including tangible or intangible, according to the Porter ME 1985. As you can see in the chart, tangible is visible and physical attributes. The example of tangible research is like labor, capital, land, buildings, plant, equipment, and suppliers. And for the intangible research is invisible and no physical attributes. The example of intangible is like culture, knowledge, brand, equity, reputation, and the last is the intellectual property. Okay, in the research, have a research-based view are a model that sees certain types of research as key to superior firm performance. And the two assumptions critical to the research-based model are the first is resource heterogeneity and the next is resource immobility. Okay, the next is the capabilities. According to Porter ME 1985, capabilities are organizational and managerial skills necessary to orchestrate a diverse set of research and deploy them strategically or more intangible. Okay, after we know about the research capabilities and the core competencies, and the next is we will learn about the build core competencies. The build core competencies are the essence of makes an organization unique in its ability to provide value to customers, according to the Leonard Barton, 1994. In build core competencies that you can see in the chart, the first, we look for the research. The research is tangible or intangible. The next is about the capabilities, about the team of research. And then the next is about core competencies, search of competitive advance, and then we can find the core competencies. Okay, in the build competencies, we will learn also about the sustainability advantage criteria and the value chain. The next is we will talk about sustainable advantage criteria. In order for strategic capabilities to become core competencies, the first is have valuable capabilities. These valuable capabilities that assist companies in taking advantage of opportunities to create value for customer or to neutralize the external environment. And the next is about the rare capabilities that are only slightly owned by exciting competitors or by potential competitors. And the next is imperfectly imitable capabilities that cannot be developed easily by other companies, usually due to special historical condition, cause of ambiguity or social complexity. And the next is about the non-substitutable capabilities. This is capabilities that do not have strategic similarities, such as company-specific knowledge or trust to relationship. And what makes a research valuable? The first is competitive superiority. Like the question is, can exciting research better meet customer needs than competitors? And the next is about resource scarcity. Is the supply of resource limited? And the third is about ease of limitation. Like, are resources easy to replicate or obtain, like that? And the next is appropriatability. Like, what exactly makes the profit grab by research? And the next is about endurance, like how quickly will researching, and about the substitutability, like are there other alternatively available? Okay, the next is we will talk about the value chain analysis. Value chain is a series of business activities where at each stage or each steps is able to increase the value or utilization of the goods or service produced, according to Bolwick 2010. And then Porter M. 1985 described two different categories in value chain analysis that you can see in the picture. There are primary activities and support activities. Primary activities is all business activities that are able to create value or benefits for customers in presenting something that is able to solve the company's specialness in the market. And this main activity is considered an important activity in running a business. Primary activity consists of the first is inbound logistics. Is an activity of the company related to the storage, receipt, and also dissemination of product. And the next is operation, which is an activity that converts a raw material product into a final product. And the next is about outbound logistics. Is a company activity related to the distributing products or service to customers. And the next is about marketing and sales. Is an activity related to the marketing, also the sales, such as promotion and all others. And the last is about the service. is an activity related to the providing service in order to further improve the maintenance of a product, and such as maintenance, repair, and also training. And the next is about supporting activities. In the value chain are company activities that aim to provide activity in order to achieve the main activity of the company. In this case, supporting activities are supporting the main activity, which without this activity will make the main activity less optimal or cannot run at all. Support activity consists of firm infrastructure, is an activity related to the cost, and also assets relates to the general management, finance, accounting, security, and also information system safety. And the next is about human resource management, is an activity of training, development, and compensation for all types of personnel, which includes developing the level of expertise of workers. And the next is about technology development, is an activity related to the improvement of process, product, software development, tool design, and then telecommunication system, new database capabilities to build computerized system support. And the next is about procurement, is an activity related to the how to obtain research, such as the purchasing function used in the value chain. Okay, then we talk about the outsourcing. Outsourcing is a strategic option for the buying some activities from outside suppliers, according to the Porter ME 1985. Companies often buy a portion of their value creation activities from external suppliers who are able to perform this function more efficiently. The reason of strategic for outsourcing is the first is increasing business focus, so that the companies can focus on broader business issues by having outside experts who handle a wide variety of operation. And the second is providing access to world-class capabilities. Outsourcers make world-class capabilities available to the companies. And the next is accelerating the benefit of business re-engineering. The benefit of re-engineering can be achieved faster by embracing outsiders who already have world standards, like to take over the process, right? And the next is dividing the risks, reducing investment requirements, and making companies more flexible, dynamic, and more able to adapt to changing opportunities. And the next is free resource of other purpose, allowing companies to shift business from non-core activities to activities that can serve customer more effectively. And the next subchapter is about the input strategies. Okay, in input strategies, in choosing a business model and concept to be used, ideally business people or company must combine internal factors, especially resource and look of the structure of the industry externally. Meanwhile, the definition of strategy itself is a pattern of resource allocation that allows organizations to maintain their performance, that are according to Alan Cove in 1997. And for input strategy, Porter ME in the 1985 described a category scheme consisting of three general types of strategies commonly used by business to achieve and maintain competitive advantage. The first is cost leadership. This cost leadership pertains to a firm's ability to create economics of scale through extremely efficient operation that produce a like volume. Cost leaders include organizations like Procter & Gamble, Walmart, McDonald's, and other large firms generating a high volume of goods that are distributed and a relatively low cost, like compared to the competition. The next strategy is differentiation. In the differentiation is less tangible and easily defined, yet still represent an extremely effective strategy when properly executed. The differentiation refers to offering ability to create a good that is difficult to replicate, thereby fulfilling niche needs. This strategy can include creating a powerful brand image which allow that organization to sell its product or service at a premium. And the market segmentation is narrow in the scope. Both cost leadership and the differentiation are relatively broad in scope and is a cross between the two strategies. In the segmentation target, finding specific segment of the market which are not otherwise tapped by larger firms. Okay, that's all about our study in the internal environment analysis, and I hope you all can understand it well. Thank you for watching. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.